Hello, good evening. It's Monday. It is 8 o'clock. So that only means one thing, doesn't it? It's the Arsenal review show on over and over and over again. Tonight, we're going to be looking back on Friday night's FA Cup defeat away at Manchester City. We'll be looking at the performance and dissecting that. We're going to be looking ahead as well to the game at this weekend away at Everton. New manager syndrome maybe again for us. Who knows? We'll have to see. But we've got a tricky game there on Saturday. And of course, tomorrow is the transfer deadline day, isn't it? Now, are we going to get anyone come in on the last day as we have done so many times before? We shall wait and see. There's a few names being spoken about today. So could be an exciting day tomorrow, maybe. We'll see. But lots to get through on the show tonight. So let's get cracking. The other side of this.
Gives it to Saka on that far side. Bukayo Saka running at Luke Shaw, cuts inside. Saka trying to stop for 25 yards. It's in. The far corner. What a great goal that is. Bukayo Saka. The comeback is complete. Arsenal 2, Manchester United 1.
And joining us for the show tonight, we have got a familiar face to the channel, of course. It is El Stevio, as he likes to call himself. Good to see you. Are you okay?
I'm good, mate. I'm good. Been sharing my diary with you all week, so it's been an interesting one over the weekend. Yes, mate. Last minute, just made it, got it here. Had me on with. Absolutely brilliant, mate. How you doing?
Yeah, not bad at all. Not bad at all. It's been, it's been a good season, obviously, so far. It's shame about what happened on Friday. We'll talk about that in a minute. But yeah, overall, if we can't be happy at the moment, then we've got no chance really, have we? Let's be honest. So we need to enjoy it while we can, because as I've been saying since the start of the season, it might end tomorrow. So we need to enjoy it while we can. That's what I'm determined to do. So it's all good. We've got Nathan in the chat there. He says, hi, everyone. Looking forward to the show. Good to see you, mate. Hope you're well. Right. Okay. So I suppose then where we need to start is rewind a few days to Friday night, FA Cup, Manchester City away, big game, big test, and didn't quite work out as we hoped. I mean, I love the FA Cup. We all love the FA Cup. We've won it more than anybody else. It's our competition. And to get knocked out early again for the third season in a row is obviously disappointing. And I think we all feel disappointed about that. But overall, I don't think we can be too disappointed with how we played overall, especially in the first half, because I thought we had some chances in the first half. We were possibly the better team, actually, wasn't we? And then we didn't get the goal. And it's always difficult, isn't it, when you go behind away at a club like Man City? It's always difficult. But you know, we gave a good go of it. We made some changes to the team. I mean, what did you make of the lineup first of all, though, Steve? Because obviously there were a few changes, maybe not as many as some people predicted there may be. We still had quite a strong side, but there were some changes, wasn't there? Expected.
You know, Rich. At the end of the day, I think we've talked about it a few times. In a depth of squad's really important. The capability to what bring on and having that sort of team. I think one of the things that really upset me the most was Emil Smith-Rowe, obviously another injury, picked that, and that's bound to happen. Gutted for him. So I was hoping that he would play in there. But I think, you know what, he went quite strong. I also believe City went quite strong as well. So there's no two ways about it. And I think in the first half, we were very compact. We drew the ball in. They were lumping big, long balls in, trying to get to it. And their German goalkeeper didn't have quite the edge. I don't think he had quite the edge. No doubt he's a brilliant goalkeeper. But when them long balls that he's putting in, that lump it up to Haaland and see what happens. Thought we did really, really well. And it's interesting when you look at the dynamics of Partey and what he brings. So Partey and Xhaka, to me, were the standout. And Tomiyasu. I think Tomiyasu just ruled the roost there when we look at it. But no, you're right. I think for the first half, absolutely played well. I think they did right to bring Holding off. I think that was bringing Rob off was right. He was on a yellow. You could see they were kind of going for that. Then the changes came. And I feel, and I know I'm going to get absolutely mullers for this, but I do feel that with when you bring 6 changes on, when we bring 6 changes on like that, you lose something. We lost it when Partey went off. I was terrified when I heard he had to go for an MRI. But you lose something. You lose something in the rhythm. You lose something in the drive. The performance. I think Martinelli, although the positive to that was Martinelli coming on, and he was just like a man possessed. But it just wasn't enough. It just wasn't enough, I think, to do it. But I think it was a good show by us, mate. It was a good show, and it wasn't. We didn't sit back and just take it.
No, I mean it was, and I mean in a way though it kind of we went into the game top of the Premier League. We're above them. We've got the advantage, and we may be. I know they're a very good side. Of course they are. We know we've got a very poor record away at their ground in recent years as well, and all those things into account. But I don't feel that we needed to accept defeat in this game as maybe we have done previously when we visited City, and we did give it a good go, and it's hard to feel too disappointed with the performance overall. But in the second half, we just wasn't quite good enough, was we? I mean, we didn't have a shot on target, did we, in the second half? We had one really big chance, which was that cross from Xhaka, which Eddie was going to get on the end of if it wasn't for a very good piece of defending by Laporte, wasn't it? Really good touch he got on the ball, but we didn't.
Just a little touch, wasn't it?
It was, yeah, and it was a great bit of defending, but we didn't create any real opportunities in the second half, did we? And that was disappointing for me because we for large parts of that game, we went toe-to-toe with Man City away, which is an impressive feat in its own. But ultimately, when it came down to it, they scored the goal, and we didn't have enough to find a way back into it, did we? What do we need to do to change that when we've got to play them twice in the league, and those 2 games are going to be massive, aren't they? Those 6 points. Either way, it could decide the title. What do we need to do to be able to turn this result around in the league?
First and foremost, we need to loan out or sell Sambi Lokonga. Like that number one. He had a shocker of the game, and I feel sorry for the kid because there's talent. You can see there's talent there. It's like Tavares. Nuno Tavares. I keep wanting to sing that 70s song by Tavares, doesn't it? I do, every time I say that, I've got to be very careful because I don't want us to lose people on the channel from me singing. But look, I think one of the things, and it showed actually when you've got the sort of depth of squad that Man City have, and we've talked about this. And I know we're going to go on a little bit later, deadline day, and you can see the type of player that we're going for. But when Sambi had his chance, he didn't take it. Yeah, he didn't take it. He has the opportunity to actually grab that spot, make it his own. Whereas, Eddie, who I've got to say, mate, I have been probably his biggest critic. And I tweeted him after the game. I tweeted Eddie, right? If you're listening, Ed, I'm sorry for what I said because he has grasped that nettle by the wrong end, and he's gone in there and he's actually proved me wrong, which is great, and I love it. I love him for it, and he's really coming on and he's scoring the goals. But I think you're absolutely right. It's the difference is the type of players that we've got now, and you can see with the chasing Saicedo and the chasing. We're chasing absolutely any midfielder, I think, at the minute, that's got any Premiership experience. But it's the way that he's coming in with it. And looking at it, we can see where the deficiencies are. And Partey came off, and that whole team fell apart. I actually thought Vieira had a good game as well. I thought he played quite well. He wasn't too bad, like as we've seen it. And the team was gelling, And again, Odegaard make next level. So look, going back to the answer question, what do we need to do? Definitely that holding midfielder that can actually hold that game up. We need someone desperately. And whether 100 million on Saicedo is the right thing to do, I'm not sure. But you can see why he wanted Mudryk. You can see why he wanted why these players are coming in, because Sambi, unfortunately, is not doing it. I think he was one of the catalysts as to why we didn't play. That the second half was totally different, and they dominated. But look, what did we hear of Haaland? What did we hear of Haaland? Did he ever actually get out of Gabby's back pocket? Because I don't think he did. I don't think he is. I don't think he was. He was just, it was non-existent. That's not to say, guys. I'm not saying it. When he turns up at ours, it's going to be the same. But I feel fairly confident that we can do a job. I definitely feel fairly confident we can do a job. And I think our pace is going to make a massive difference. So in answer, a very long-winded answer to your question, but I think ultimately it was the midfield, that holding midfield, because we were keeping it so tight, stopping the play, forcing a long ball into it, dealing with the likes of Haaland, dealing with the likes of, what's the young right back who's not actually a right back? What's his name?
Rico Lewis or something, isn't it?
Rico Lewis. Wow.
Yeah,
Player.
Yeah, he is a good player.
He kind of was non-existent in the game, and I say, like, Tommy Ashley played well, and our back line, Saliba, a lot better, played a lot better, I have to say. So for me, we lost it in the midfield in the second half, for sure.
Yeah, we did, and I do think that, you know, Thomas Partey is a very difficult player to replace because he's so important to everything that we do, and I do feel as though what we're going to have to try to find is, and looking at the names that's been mentioned, that's exactly what we are trying to find, is somebody who can come in and the drop off isn't as great as we saw on Friday night, and as we've seen many times before. I mean, Sambi Lokonga's he's been here. This is his second season at Arsenal. Yes, he's not played regularly in the team, but he's played plenty of games in the different competitions.
Sure.
And so far, he hasn't proved himself at all to be good enough for what we need. And it is a concern because he's a player that he's a recent-ish signing, isn't he? And it's not really worked out for him. So, and the fact we're looking to replace him already is a little bit of a worry on that sense, but we have to do what we have to do. We're in such a good position. We can't afford to throw it away by not acting in the transfer market. And we will talk about that a little bit more later on. But yeah, I mean, I thought what sort of pleased me, and I don't like to say I'm pleased because we lost and we're out of the cup, and I don't like to be out of the cup, but what sort of pleased me was I did feel for the first time in a long time that we went to Man City and we played without fear. And in the end, we wasn't quite good enough in the second half to pull it round. And yeah, partly that was down to the change of Thomas Partey going off, and that made a massive difference. But at least we went there and we wasn't fearful of them. We went there and we gave it a go, and we were a bit unfortunate in the first half maybe. And in the end, I say we ran out of ideas maybe a little bit in the second half, and they took control of the game. But I've got reason to be I think we've all got reason to be optimistic for the two league games. And I'm not saying either game's going to be easy, and I'm not saying we can win both of them, but we don't probably have to win both of them. If we can win one of them, whichever one that is, the home one or the away one, then that puts us in a really, really strong position, particularly if we win the home game, because that's coming up very soon. If we win that, we're going to be in such a strong position in the league, aren't we?
And that's the thing. Like, that's the thing. And I genuinely feel I'm not. You never feel confident against Man City, right? Like, you can't. No. But I think you know. Someone said to me, it was Sean that said to me, he said, the thing is, we talked about Brazil in the World Cup. There used to be Brazil. If you think about Brazil, go back a few World Cups, you'd just be terrified with the fact you're playing Brazil. Like, you know, you've got Brazil. That's your next game is Brazil. You're absolutely terrified by playing them. Then all of a sudden, they turn up, and they've already won before they got on the pitch. It was the same with Man City. You go back a couple of seasons, and it was terrifying. You'd watch De Bruyne in the warm-up, pinging these shots around. Now, I'm sitting there thinking, you're not so excited about the fact that Martinelli's going to be running at you. You're not excited about the way Bukayo Saka's knocking him in for a laugh. You know, you're not as excited about the fact that Saliba's there and Gabriel's there and you know, Thomas Partey and these sort of players that we've got that are actually starting to make such a massive difference to this team. It's like it is so good to watch, right? And so I don't think the fear is there. And a lot of the Premier League players, and again, you know, Sean and I are out this weekend. And he turned around and said, it's as if by bringing Haaland in. Now, don't get me wrong, right? Like, I'm going to underline what I'm about to say here. Because I'll tell you what, if I saw Haaland holding an Arsenal shirt like this, I'll be kissing his feet and down on my knees. But it's like Man City have lost, and Sean sort of put his finger right on it. He said, it's as if Man City have lost something very special, right, about the way they play, because they've got this amazing striker and they've got to actually feed him and get him working. And he's not a Jesus. He's not a Jesus who's going to run around and do that work. And so all the pundits that went on about Jesus this, and he hasn't scored that, the whole lot, it's the work he does off the ball. And we're starting to see that in this Man City team. And I find that incredible. So you're right. And I think if we could win one at the Emirates, because, you know, we'll all be screaming, and I know the fans are going to bring it, and draw at theirs, I'll potentially.
Well, yeah, I mean,
obviously we want
that's
to win.
the dream. Yeah, I mean, to be honest, 4 points from those two games, I think that we win the league. I think we win the league with 4 points from them two games.
So. Halfway through,
yeah.
It doesn't feel like it, but we are already halfway through the season.
Yeah, we are, but we've got a good advantage. We've got 50 points. So even if we have a fairly average second half to the season, we're still going to be getting 85, 90 points, probably, aren't we? Yeah. With a half decent second half to the season. And 4 points against Man City is going to be key, I think. And if we do that, then, you know, we'll be in such a strong position, wouldn't we? Yeah. So, but having said that, it's easily we could get no points or we could get 1 point out of those two games, and then it swings in maybe Man City's favour. That's how close it is. But I mean, Terry's made a good point in the chat. He says, I can't see why we didn't go with our best side as we had 8 days before our next game against Everton. City was there for the taking, and I do kind of agree with that to a certain point. But we played Thomas Partey; he had to go off because he picked up an injury. And yes, players can get injured in training; they can get injured walking across the street after they're going home from training. So you know you can't wrap them in cotton wool. They're there to play football, and it's a big game in a competition that we love to win. So I would have been tempted to have gone full strength actually, due to the fact that we didn't have a midweek game. We had over a week's rest. Maybe risk it. And try and win that game, because getting past Man City would have opened the competition up for us, especially as we saw Liverpool have gone out as well, and you know we'd have had a great chance to have gone a long way. So, but hindsight's a great thing, isn't it? I mean, we went with what we thought was a team to compete in that game, and we did. We competed. We just wasn't quite at that level. I mean, you mentioned Haaland, and that's quite interesting because obviously a lot of Arsenal fans have been sort of almost screaming for Arsenal to buy a striker in this transfer window because of the injury to Jesus, and Eddie maybe, yes, he's done well, but is he really at the level to take us forward from where we are? We don't know yet. But it kind of shows, doesn't it? You know, we could buy a striker, but it may well disrupt everything that the way that we play and the way that it has to Man City. And Man City can afford to have a season where they have to transition a little bit because they've got a big enough squad and they've probably got enough still to compete and win trophies. We can't really do that, can we? If we had a season like that, okay, let's get a striker in, let's change the way we play, let's adapt a little bit, and it might take us 6 months. We don't win enough games, and then we're struggling to get in the top 4. We can't do that. Man City can. And I think you're right. And I think that is what's happened with Man City. You can see they're playing a different way now. A lot more long balls than they used to play, and not just against us. They've been doing this season, haven't they? You know, quite a lot. They've changed the way they play to accommodate a guy who scored an awful lot of goals, and you can understand why they're doing it. And maybe Pep's done that for a reason. He brought Haaland in for a reason because he wanted to change the way. But maybe he felt they were becoming too predictable. Maybe he felt they needed to mix it up. And maybe we'll get to that point in a couple of years' time where we'll be the same, because we're basically copying, well, we're mirroring, aren't we, what they're doing? The way that we play, the style of football is what we're doing now is our Man City were playing 2 years ago, isn't it? It's that same style of football, isn't it? We just haven't got the squad depth that they had to be able to rotate the players and not lose that ability to play like that, I suppose. And it will come with us eventually when we get the players in. I'm sure it will, but we'll have to see. Nathan says, I see you've been linked with Jorginho. What are your thoughts? We will talk about the transfer window a little bit later. We will mention, obviously, Jorginho.
Nathan, hold that one because I've got some bits there. But there's one thing we haven't mentioned, actually, is how good was Trossard in the first half?
Yeah. Oh, brilliant. Yeah, brilliant.
How fast is that bloke? How quick is he? Like, he's unbelievably fast. It was unbelievable watching him play. And I watched him towards the end of the Man United game. And I sat back, and I never realised that he's as quick as Gabby. He's absolutely as quick as Gabby.
Oh, he's fast. Yeah. And also as well, he's got a very good football intelligence, hasn't he? To know where he needs to be, where other people are around him. He's got that intelligence, even though he's moving at a really fast pace. He's also thinking at that pace as well, isn't he? And he's able to, you know, so many times he played the right pass, didn't he, at the right time? You know, and sometimes, you know, as much as we love Martinelli, he's a brilliant player. Sometimes he doesn't make those decisions always right, does he? Because he's still young, maybe, and still learning. Trossard's got that experience. And that's what's impressed me. He's making good decisions in that final third. And he almost created a goal and scored a goal in that first half, didn't he? And it will come eventually, because I agree, he looked brilliant. I was so impressed with him. Yeah, I think he ran out of steam a little bit, didn't he? Second half, they took him off in the end. And, you know, not surprising.
And that's fine. Because he's nipping at Martinelli's heels. But like, yeah, and this is the type of intelligent signing that I think we need to look at. Like, yes, he's a bit older, yes, but he's got that footballing brain. He's got the capability, he's got the speed to go with it. But he knows he's got an eye for goal. He's got an abs. You can see he's got an eye for goal. You can see, which is why I'm not too worried about the striker. And I said very early on, didn't we, when we came back, I said we need a striker. I don't think so now. I think with him, having him there, having that capability, that's a game changer.
Yeah.
That's the depth of squad.
No, I agree. Yeah.
So no, hats off to Trossard. Great buy. Again, Man United is his debut. Beautiful watching him. First half of Man City, absolutely, as you say, ran out a bit of steam. But hey, to have that impact play that we can bring on. When's the last time we've had that? Also, give Martinelli just 5 minutes peace and quiet to be able to put his feet up and just relax and recharge the batteries. Or, the other one is that psychological bit to say, well, mate, you need to up your game just a little bit. And hey, well done. He signed another contract with us. It just shows the love that he has. And that's the fun. So I've got, again, I know we've said we wouldn't talk about Mudryk, but I want to go back to that, right? There's a guy, and I said on our WhatsApp group, there is a guy, when we talked about Mudryk and losing it to Chelsea and blah, 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 right? Martinelli said, give me a pen and I'll sign a contract. I want to stay with Arsenal for the rest of my life. That is the player that we need and want in our team, because we will love him as fans. We'll love it. We'll love playing on the pitch. We'll love actually going through the whole piece. Mudryk went, and yes, it is 30,000 extra a week that sat behind it. Right, it was 30,000 a week. But don't be liking Zinchenko's posts that came up. And again, his energy, Zinchenko, his old place that basically was his home for a long, long time, to come out and be so excited about it. So don't be liking that stuff. You're gone, mate. You're as far as I'm concerned, Mudryk, and I can't wait for you to turn up at the Emirates, because boy, if no one else shouts, I'm going to be right. Because Martinelli's put it there. Trossard's put his name on the thing that says it. Mudryk just went for the money. It just tells you everything you need to know about the bloke.
Well, I mean, we don't know what happened, do we, really? Let's be honest. We don't know the full story about it all. But ultimately, I'm not that bothered. I think for what we need right now, Trossard's was a better signing than Mudryk anyway. Mudryk is one for the future, and I'm sure he's going to be a great player. But it doesn't matter. He made his choice. He's gone to Chelsea, and that's it. He's done. Yeah. We got Trossard in, who I think for right now is a better option for us anyway. So I'm happy with what happened there. I don't have any bad feelings towards Mudryk particularly at all. I don't really care. He's gone somewhere else. He's made his choice. He may end up regretting it. Who knows? He may not. Time will tell, won't it? I suppose.
I'm bitter and twisted. Rich, I'm bitter and twisted. And
I understand that, of course. But I personally don't care. He's made his choice, and that we've got a good signing out of it. A very good signing. Absolutely. A very good player coming. Happy days, as far as I can see. Shane says, "Hi everyone. Strangely enough, I feel more confident about our chances of the title after the game on Friday. I think we've got answers to whether we can compete with them." I mean, I do agree with you. I think we have, but ultimately now the FA Cup game was, I don't want to call it a free hit, but this early in the competition, there wasn't quite so much at stake. We can't afford to play well in the two league games and lose them both 1-0. We can't afford to really do that, can we? Because then that gives City the big advantage in the title race. So as well as we played, we still lost the game. And we have got to find a way to reverse those results in the two league games. And yes, I feel we can do it. I definitely feel we can, but we didn't on Friday, did we? And that's what we've got to make sure we don't afford to lose that game. Either both of them games would be a disaster. Terry says, Nathan, I heard that if it's true, to me, that's a step backwards and Edu needs to go. Well, we all talk about Jorginho and a few other people as well. And where are we there? We've got Del Boy at Gunner TV. He says, "Hi, Richard, Steve. How you doing, mate? Hope you're well." Terry says, "Sing it, Steve-O." He wants you to sing Tavares.
I'm not going to sing, Kevin. No, I'm not going to do it.
He needs a bit more wine first, I think, before we get down to
I've only gone for half a bottle. Come on, behave yourself.
Oh, that's not enough yet. It's nowhere near enough yet. It's too early in the evening. Mark C says, "It's a big task for Lokonga to be dropped in with next to no game time and expect him to fill the boots." No, you're right. It is, and it's tough. But then that's what squad players are there for. And that's what they've got to be able to do. Yeah. They've got to be ready when they're needed to come up, to step up and do a job. And unfortunately, so many times he's had the opportunity and he hasn't managed to do it.
So look, the flip to that was Cesc Fabregas ever at a point where he felt like he didn't have the legs to match up with whoever it is he was coming in for? Or did Cesc Fabregas ever have a problem, jumping in? No, not really. And these are the players.
Yeah, but Cesc Fabregas, to be fair, was playing regular first team football at 18 when we had a very, very good side. He was in the team regularly, wasn't he, every week at 18 years old. And I don't think it's fair to compare Sambi Lokonga with Cesc Fabregas, because Cesc Fabregas is.
It doesn't matter. What I'm saying is Yeah, but what I'm saying is that's the quality of player that we need. Would it be a problem for anybody? Even when Smith Rowe came back from his loan, the we turned around and went, "Oh, let's just throw Smith Rowe in there." We'd have all been fine with that because so Charlie Patino, for instance, like the way he's going at this moment in time, would you worry too much about that? I don't think I would. Yes, he'll make mistakes, and we're ready as fans. I think we're ready to take mistakes, but he just was positionally totally all over the place. He just wasn't good enough.
Yeah. Oh no, he's not good enough. He's not good enough. No, I 100% agree. And unfortunately, what's happened is maybe that isn't necessarily the fault of the guys that arranged the signing of Samuel Lokonga, one or two others. It's more to do with the fact that I think we've progressed faster than people assume. So now players that would have been okay if we were challenging for 6th place or 4th place, they'd probably be okay in the squad. But now we've stepped up a level. And some of these players aren't going to be able to catch up. They're not going to be able to because they're not good enough. And they were good enough.
Let's talk of Tierney. Like a couple of seasons ago, we were screwed without him.
Absolutely right. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, exactly. That's another example, isn't it? I mean, Tierney was obviously at a good level, but he was at a level at that time where we were, and he was at that level, wasn't he? We've progressed. Has he progressed at the same rate as the rest of the team around him? Maybe not. If we're honest, maybe not. As much as we love Tierney, he's probably stayed at the same level from 2 years ago, but the team have moved on and he's struggling to keep up, isn't he? We've seen that this season in particular, even more so with Zinchenko coming in. It's made that even more obvious, hasn't it, really, I suppose. Mark says in the first half, we're all over them. Well, I wouldn't say we were all over them. We were the better team and had the better chances in the first half, and they didn't create anything at all. But in the second half, it was a reverse, really, wasn't it? They were the better team and they had the better chances and they won the game.
Were they? Rich, were they the better team in the second half? There were a lot more pressure. They were pressing a lot harder. But they were the better.
They were the better team in the second half of the game, I thought. In the first half, we were the better team. In the second half, they were the better team.
I thought to be honest with
you,
we contained them particularly well. But you know full well when you're trying to hold a playing team like this back and stop them, you're going to lose out. And it was tiredness and fatigue at the end. But I felt that we held them. Yes, they were a better team. I wouldn't say they were all over us. But I don't
know. They weren't all over us. No, I didn't say they were all over us. They were the better team in the second half, and we were the better team in the first half. It was quite even the whole game. There wasn't a lot to choose. In the end, they had that one little bit of quality or luck, you could say, for the goal. I thought it was well taken, actually.
Yeah, no, I thought Ake. And Ake, to be honest with you, I can't stand a bloke. I think he's awful. But, hey,
he had a great game.
He played out of his skin. But, sorry, Nathan, mate, I don't know you. I bet you're a lovely man, but I just think you're a rubbish footballer. And I wouldn't have him in our team. I wouldn't have him in our team.
I wouldn't have him in our team, but he had a great game on Friday.
And well done on he took that goal like a striker.
Yeah, he did.
But Haaland's overhead kick from outside of the box. Behave yourself. Behave yourself.
It was on target, I know.
Yeah, but I think Turner played well. He judged those.
He did.
Judged them really well.
He was coming out, wasn't he? Quickly, he was out of his box. He was getting, that long ball through. He was coming out and getting it, wasn't he? So he had a great game. I agree. Nathan says 100%. It's clear you need a midfielder. Yeah, we do. He said, granted, Trossard is a good player, but was a winger really a priority? It's an odd one. Anything can happen on deadline day. I mean, I think Trossard can play all along the front three, can't he? So he's got that versatility. And yes, was a winger a priority? No, it probably wasn't. But I do think we needed to strengthen in the attack. And he's an attacking option, isn't he? He's a better option to maybe some of the other players. We didn't have any other options, Eddie, and that's it. That's all we had. And now we've got another option. So
you don't think we've seen a dip in Martinelli's form? You don't think we've seen a dip in?
Yeah. But is that because he's played and maybe he's just knackered?
He's exhausted, and that's exactly it.
Exactly. And this gives you an opportunity to rotate him, doesn't it? More. And we didn't have the option before because we didn't have anybody else. Smith Rowe's not been fit. He would have been able to be a rotation in that position, but he's not been fit. So.
But again, it goes back to what you're saying. He's right. He's a right-footed player, isn't he, Trossard? He's right-footed.
He's a right-footed player on the left. Yeah.
So being able to bring him in down the middle, like you could go traditional 4-4-2 or whatever. Being able to bring him down the middle and actually go at goal, I think is actually a good buy. I think it's a good buy.
No, I do.
It sits within there.
The versatility, it's almost like two players in one because he can fill in different positions in that front three. And that's what we needed. So, a winger wasn't a priority. 100% it wasn't. But a player like Trossard who can fit across. That's why I think he's a better signing than Modric would have been because he's more of a wide player, isn't he? That's where he wants to play, Modric. Whereas Trossard can play anywhere along that front three. So I think it's a better signing at a quarter of the price and the experience that we needed. And we've seen already how good he's going to be. Shane says, I like Sambi, but all successful teams need to be ruthless at the top level. Absolutely. And the same goes for ESR. We need him available, or maybe have to go. I mean, it's an interesting one with ESR. I mean, obviously, I think we're all going to allow him a little bit more kind of time because of what he's done, and he's one of our own kind of youth players and stuff like that. And I think we're all prepared to give him a little bit more time. But you're right. If he's not going to be fit enough to play a full season, which he's never been so far, then it's a worry, and it is a worry. And is that what we need? Maybe not, but I don't think we should think about getting rid of him right now. Give him a chance to get fit again. Let him have some games, see how he does, how he fits in. Because we have, since he's not been in the team this season, he's hardly played this season. 2 appearances or something he's made. That's it. Yeah. And we now at a higher level. Is he able to step up to that higher level? We'll have to wait and see because we've not seen him play. We don't know yet. So I want to give him time. I wouldn't be thinking of getting rid of him. But you are right. If he's never going to be fit enough to play more than 20 games a season, he's no use to us, is he? Let's be honest. Really, it doesn't matter how good he is. If he can't play, he's not fit. Then it's pointless, isn't it? Really. But anyway, Terry says, "Agree, Shane. Can't bring feelings into it if we want to win." But exactly, we need to be. Yeah, we've gone up a level. We're playing a different game now, aren't we, to what we have been? And I say some players aren't going to be able to live with that, unfortunately. But anyway, we'll see what happens there. We've got Loki in the chat as well. He says, "Good evening, all. How you doing, my friend? Hope you're well. Good to see you." And Mark C says, like a duck to water, how Trossard fitted in. Exactly, yeah. He's come straight in, looks the business already, which is great. But he's got that Premier League experience. That's the difference, isn't it? When a player from elsewhere has got to adapt, he doesn't need to adapt because he knows the league. Yes, he's got to adapt to the system and the style of play a little bit, but that's a lot easier than having to adapt to a new country, a new style of football, a new climate, and everything else. He's already done all that, so we got an advantage there, didn't we? Steve-O says, "Have a drink. You're chatting too much sense tonight." He says. Terry says, "I told you, Terry. It's still early. It's still early in the night. Don't worry.
30 minutes in, Terry. Don't worry. I've got about 4 bottles ready to go. Don't you worry about that. We're all good."
Yeah,
I don't actually have 4 bottles ready to go. Just sort of say.
No, well, you can deny it all you like, but
Terry knows.
Shane says, "Signing players are already playing the Premier League is underrated." Exactly, yeah. Why we didn't do this more in last season? No, I 100% agree. I like to sign players that have got that experience because it's massive difference, as you can see. Terry says, "I think Trossard's a fantastic buy." Absolutely. Loki says, "Saka and Martinelli have been played too much." We've been lucky. Yeah, they have been played too much. And you can see there's, as we mentioned, Martinelli already, he's looking tired. I mean, Saka didn't have any impact in that game on Friday at all, did he? And yes, Ake played well, but Saka should be good enough to get the beating of Ake a few times in the game, and he wasn't. Is that because he's overplayed and he's tired? He's got nothing left in his legs, and he needs a rest as well. But
I think it was more the case to put 3 players on him, to be honest with you.
Well, they did, but I mean, Ake was brilliant against him, actually, to be fair. I agree with you. I don't think Ake's a great player at all, but he had a great game, and he kept Saka quiet. He shut that side down, and it meant that we didn't pose much threat in the second half of the game at all because we didn't have that creativity, did we? Now, of course, the FA Cup's gone. We can forget about that now. Yes, it's disappointing. It's frustrating. I love a good FA Cup run. We're not going to go to Wembley this year. But we do have slightly bigger things bigger fish to fry, if you like, bigger things to think about. And we're back in Premier League action, of course, on Sunday, the early kickoff, which I never like. But there's a few problems that we may face, of course, on the game on Saturday lunchtime. Obviously, new manager bounce is something that we've had the backlash of a load of times over recent years, haven't we? Yeah. And it always seems to happen to us, doesn't it? We face a team just after they've got a new manager in. It happens so many times. And we know what Sean Dyche as a manager is like. We know his style of football. And Everton can't afford to have any niceties going on. They need to win games to get out of trouble. And Sean Dyche is a sort of manager that is going to get them set up to disrupt our play. Obvious that's what they're going to do. We know that. Can we deal with that? I don't know. We've got a very, very poor record at Everton in recent years. I think we've lost the last 3 seasons, haven't we? We've led 1-0 a few times and haven't been able to hang on, and it's been terrible. So everything seems to be firing against us.
We battered them at like 5 something at arse.
Yeah, we're at home. We always beat them at home, but away we've been terrible against them. And it just seems as though everything's conspiring against us this weekend. I say a new manager, a ground where we don't do particularly well in recent years. The crowd are going to be well up for this game because they was crying for Lampard to go and all that kind of stuff. And now they've got a new manager in to get behind. And I think it's going to be a really, really difficult game for us, actually. I know there's still a transfer window still going. We may have one or two new players in before then. But, I mean, what are you anticipating ahead of this game and against Everton? Because I think it's going to be one of our toughest games of the season now.
Do you think so? I disagree.
Yeah,
I think we've had our toughest game. Well, no, toughest game of the season for us is going to be Newcastle again. Because that is, as we know, mate, Newcastle's going to be the one. Yeah. I believe we're going to win. And the reason I say that is that he's got a new man. Yes, they've got a new manager, but he hasn't got a lot of time. It's not like he's been there 4 or 5 weeks. It's going to be his first game coming up. He's only been announced today. It's going to be 5-6 days. He's going to try and get those guys. He's going to put 19 people behind the ball and all the lines and everything else. And it's going to be he's going to play normal Sean Dyche awful football. They've lost. Who's the one they just sold to Newcastle? 45 million. Godfrey? Is it Godfrey?
Yeah, Anthony Gordon.
Gordon, that's it. So just sold Gordon. So they're already selling. And I think we're going to see a couple more players go out of there. So that squad's going to get depleted. Right, and I just don't think we're at it. I don't think they're at it at this moment in time. Now, if it had been 2 months down the line, then I would be saying that. And I'm not going to say it's going to be an easy game because it never is at Everton. You're absolutely right. But then look at the North London derby. You know, we lost that. Yeah, we've lost for quite a few years at Tottenham Hotspur, and I've got to say, we absolutely destroyed them. Dominated the whole game, and there's been a lot of games where everybody's like, oh, you're going to lose there, or you're going to lose there, you're going to lose there, you're going to lose. These guys now have that winning mentality. Right, we have that winning mentality, and I think we're going to take that impetus in, or we're going to take that drive, and we're going to look at that loss on Friday and think, do you know what, we've got a chance at the Emirates, and boy, we are going to literally give them their backsides on the plate. I think we're going to win. It's going to be a convincing win. It won't be a big 5-0, 10-0, whatever, but I think it's going to be a convincing win, and we're going to show Sean Dyche exactly what he is. He needs throat lozenges, and he's a Championship manager. End of story. But that's how I feel. That's how I feel right now.
No, well, I mean that's. I'm glad you feel so positive. Nathan says it will show where the mentality is at. Well, yeah, it's another test. We've had a few tests of our mentality recently, and most of them we've come through really well. So on that side of things, I'm not necessarily doubting our mentality now. I was a few weeks ago because I was worried about these games that we had coming up. But we've shown we've got the mentality. My concern is. The fact that it's a difficult time. It's probably the worst time to be playing Everton away because of a new. And I know you're saying he hasn't had much time. He hasn't. But how many times you see a new manager go in and instantly the results pick up because players who maybe had lost faith in the previous manager suddenly up their game. They all want to impress the new manager. And I don't know. I'm worried about that side. I'm not really worried about our mentality. I think we'll go there. We'll play our football that we've been playing all season. But Everton are going to, like you said, they're going to get everyone behind the ball. They're going to kick lumps out of us like Sean Dyche tends to, all his teams have always done against us. Burnley, how many times do we have games like that against them? And that's kind of my worry is, can we rise above that? Can we still find a way to win this game despite all these things that are going to be more difficult for us? Hopefully we can.
Yeah,
it's going to be tough. It's definitely going to be tough.
We have got to go in with that winning mentality and mindset. It's all about the mindset that we go into, right? It's going to be a bear pit. They're going to be screaming at us. They're going to be doing what they're doing. We have some of the most amazing, that Thomas Partey is going to be fit, Granit Xhaka. I mean, those guys, like metronomes, like Granit Xhaka. Oh, my God. I can't even put into words, from where he's been to where he is and to where he's going to. We are seeing the absolute best of that player right now. And so we've got that metronome between him and Thomas Partey. Boom, 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 boom. They know exactly where they are. You've now got Zinchenko fit again. And like Zinchenko's kind of... I was talking to an American colleague of mine who's a big, big, big Man City fan. And by the way, not because they're just winning. He has been since the 70s. So, when they were
of course, yeah. That's what he says. He supported Liverpool in the 70s. Come on.
He's actually. I got to hand it to Steve. He does what you say, by the way. Hello, Steve, mate. He actually puts. He showed me. He's got this 70s Man City football top that he wears. And it's original.
He bought it from that shop that does the retro tops. You know he did. Come on.
I don't know. But he says, but you know, so.
Now, there are. I think there are probably 5 or 6 Man City fans that were Man City fans prior to the takeover. Probably 1 or 2 still knocking around. So I will give him credit for that.
But if you look at you just look at the way you're saying, one of the things that he was saying, it's just like that whole the way that our midfield works and plays, the way those wingers come in, the ferocity of Bukayo Saka. I mean, people don't quite realise. I think unless you actually see him live, and we've been, Rich, we've been so fortunate. It's funny how, by the way, do you not find it funny that when you got a season ticket, how many friends you all of a sudden have when you're top of the league? Really interesting. But it's like when you watch the ferocity of someone like Bukayo Saka when he's running in, it's very difficult for the defence to keep up. And it doesn't matter how good they are. I mean, Calvert-Lewin, who is a great striker but is so injury prone and is only just coming back from injury, is not going to cause Saliba or Gabriel any problems whatsoever. You know, he's not, and he hasn't done. He never has. So it's going to be one in the midfield. Our midfield is strong, and we've got that little genius in the fact that we've got Odegaard, our captain. He is. I honestly, I can't put into words. 35, 36 million. He's a steal of the century. Like, he genuinely is a steal of the century. So look, you know. My view is it's the mindset, it's the way that we go forward, it's the pace that we're going to come in at them. Put 10 behind the ball, I don't really care, because we're going to go at you and we're going to keep going at you. And we will score. I just feel that we'll score. And I'm not saying it's going to be, others are saying, Cesar's saying 4-1 to us. I don't think it's
Terry's gone. I think it'll be close. Just spoke to Neil. I'm going 4-1. He's quite conservative for Terry, actually, to be fair. So he's a little bit worried, isn't he?
So he's normally 17-0 or something like that to us. But I think it's going to be a 2-1, something like that. It's going to be, but we'll get the 3 points, we'll come away, because, these guys want to win this. They want to, I've got a feeling this team want to win the Premiership if they can, or at least come as high up in that top 4 as they possibly can. They want to win the Europa League. They want to do that. And so that's the drive of it. And Everton is just another one in the way. And we all hate Daesh. Hate is a strong word. We dislike him for the way that he plays and what he does. I mean, hate's a wrong word. But I think he's if I just go to one side, from an Everton perspective, I actually think he's the right guy for that team. He'll stabilise and he'll bring them together. And they do have some great players. Right, and I do hope that they make it out the relegation piece. But to be honest with you, come Sunday, I don't really care. I just want us to steamroller them, get our 3 points, come away and enjoy it.
No, exactly. I mean, I agree. I think Sean Dyche is a good appointment for Everton in the position that they're in. He's a sort of manager that will get them out of trouble by whatever means necessary, and that's what he's done plenty of times before. He's good at that, and I think he will do. I think he'll do a good job there, and I do think that they'll stay up now because of that appointment, and I think that's important for them. But has he got enough time to get his ideas across this week? We'll have to wait and see. But I say it just worries me, the new manager thing, as that it's bitten us a few times over the years. And I know we've got a different team now, and things are different, and we've got better players than them. There's no doubt about that. But I'm just a little bit cautious about this game. That's all, just because of the circle. I think if we'd played Everton 2 weeks ago, I wouldn't have been worried at all. I think we'd have gone there and rolled them over easily without even a problem. But now I'm a little bit more cautious due to the circumstance of the game now. Things have changed there.
Right, we'll be cautious. Yeah, we were worried. So you and I, and from our WhatsApp chats, we were worried about Man United. We were worried about Brighton. We've been worried as fans. We worry about our team like they're teenagers. But these boys, they're next level. So I'm just hoping. I really am hoping that winning mindset goes in. Forget what happened on Friday. I don't know that even matters really to them as players, and unleash it. Just unleash that on them and let them have the full pelt of just how good we are, and go straight at them and don't mess about. Let's not be friends. We're not friends and shaking hands and all that BS that goes with it. Just go in and tear them a new one and show them exactly why we deserve to be at the top. We deserve to be 5 points ahead. It's not, not rocket science. Unleash them. Don't let everybody off their leads. Let the dogs out. Let the dogs of war go. That's what I'm saying, mate.
Well, no, I mean, I'm sure that's what their plan will be, but it's it's just the circumstances of the game may not make it quite as straightforward. Loki says, I've been to Everton and won 6-1 and lost 6-1. Good ground. Yeah, I went to both them games as well. I think the 6-1 defeat was at 85, I think it might have been, when they were obviously a really good side. And obviously the 6-1 win was the first game of the season, wasn't it? About 2009 or 2010 when Cesc Fabregas was playing. And I think it was Thomas Vermaelen's debut. He scored on his debut. I remember that. So yeah, we've had some mixed results at Everton over the years. We've won some big wins. We've had some terrible defeats there. It's been one of them sort of grounds, really.
Yeah.
Like he says there, Dice will stoke them up, and he's ginger like half their crowd. Well, he's not got much hair left, though, has he? Poor fella.
He's not. He's not the Hibernian manager. Come on, be nice. Be nice to him.
Well, no, he's not. No, he's not. That's true. So Terry says, I agree, Steve. He says the word you're looking for is Everton are Shiite. Yes, we think they are at the moment, but they might improve slightly. Neil's in the chat. What are you doing, my friend? He says, hope you're all well. Sorry I couldn't join you tonight. No problem, mate. Life sometimes gets in the way. We can't all be available for podcasts all the time, unfortunately. Terry says, evening, Neil, just talking about your hope all's well. Yeah, I mean, Terry was just saying he'd spoken to you, so he was going for a 4-1 win because he was a little bit worried before then, but now he spoke to you.
Neil's 7-1. Neil's definitely 7-1. I know he is.
Oh, he'll be up there with that kind of thing, won't he? Loki makes a good point as well. Saturday 12:30 kickoff away are a pain for us. Yeah, they are. They are a pain. Yes, we have won 12:30 games away from home before. Of course we have, but yeah, it doesn't seem to suit us particularly well for whatever reason. And that's another thing against us as well, isn't it? So, but anyway, we'll see what happens there. And Neil says, that's the spirit, Steve. Unleash hell. Well, yeah, I mean, I'm sure that'll be the plan, but then I'm sure Everton's plan will be similar, won't it? What they're going
Everton's plan will be run from hell, run from the dogs of war, run as fast as you can. That's what they'll plan.
Neil's gone 5-0. Look at that. He's confident.
Love Neil.
I'm assuming that's 5-0 to Arsenal, not 5-0 to Everton. I'm assuming that's
Neil, do you want to clear that one up for us, mate? Yeah, just clear that up.
Yeah, because we're unsure. We're unsure what way you're going with that one. You put 5-0. Obviously, Everton are at home,
it should be 0-5, really, because
it should be 0-5. We get just a little bit of confusion, a little bit of 5-0 confusion going on because we're not really sure, are we? Nigel's in the chat. He says Twitter, is rife with rumours of Arsenal's interest in Jorginho. Well, yeah, I must admit there's a lot of rumours this time of the year when the transfer window's about to shut. You get a lot of rumours, don't you? And Nathan was just laughing at all of that there, which is good. So yeah, I mean, talking of the transfer window, the transfer deadline day, we may as well talk about it because we can't get away from it, unfortunately, because it shuts tomorrow night. So deadline day is the most horrible day of the year. Absolutely hate it. Hate everything about it. And unfortunately, we're going to have to suffer it tomorrow. But if we sign some players and they're the players that we need, then we'll all be quite happy, won't we? That's what we've done. Neil says there, we will chew the toffees. Well, yeah, maybe we will chew the toffees. We'll see. That might well be the caption on the show next week if we have done.
Hopefully not live on TV because that would be a bit weird.
It would be a bit weird, yeah. Loki says, I'm going for a 2-1 win. Well, yeah. What was your score prediction, by the way, Steve? Did you say exactly what it was?
Yeah, 2-1 is what I said.
2-1, yeah. I mean, I don't know. Say 2 weeks ago, I'd have probably gone 3-0 because they were terrible and we were playing well. Not that we're not now, but I don't know. I think it will be a tighter game. I think a 1-0. We've had a few 1-0 away wins, haven't we, this season? I think we might sneak a 1-0. Yeah, I think we've got the quality to win. And maybe Trossard will get his first goal. That'd be good, wouldn't it? He likes to play on Merseyside. So
I hope Trossard gets his first hat trick, and I also hope that Eddie gets a hat trick, and I also hope that Saliba gets a hat trick as well. That's what I'm hoping. But whichever one, as long as a hat trick is involved for the Arsenal, not anyone else.
Yeah, well, let's hope so. Yeah. Neil says Martinelli will shine. Let's hope so. He's been a little bit off his game, hasn't he? Last few weeks, so he needs to have a good game. And
he's knackered.
He is knackered. Yeah, hopefully he's had a good rest this week, and he can bounce back and have a good game on Saturday. But before then, of course, I say we have got to suffer 24 hours of absolute hell tomorrow with rumours flying around everywhere, stories of this player signing, that player signing, all kinds of nonsense going on. And then we get to like 11 o'clock in the evening and nothing happens, just like normal. But obviously there are the Jorginho rumours. We do have to talk about that because there does seem to be maybe more to it than just talk. I think there's something to it. I think we've thrown all our eggs in the Moises Casado kind of basket in a way. Brighton aren't playing. Why we couldn't have done this when we was getting Trossard done? Why we couldn't have sorted out a deal for both of them, given them a couple of our players, give them Lukonga, give them Rob Holding, throw a few players at them. I'm sure we could have got the deal.
Yeah. Cedric.
Yeah, Cedric. Well, yeah, exactly. So we could maybe done more to have got that deal done maybe then. But anyway, if that isn't going to happen, which Brighton don't have to sell him, let's be honest, they don't have to. It seems as though Jorginho is the backup plan. Now, I actually don't think that's a bad option personally, because he's got Premier League experience. He'll do a job in our team for what we need, and I think he would be a good signing. I mean, what would you make of that if we did get Jorginho? Would you be happy?
I'll be over the moon. So let's not forget, ladies and gentlemen, and non-binaries out there. I don't do a Richard Madeley on me. Was it not Pep Guardiola that went absolutely all out to get Jorginho against Chelsea? Right? Was it not Pep Guardiola that turned around and said he's one of the best players he's ever seen play in the midfield? Right? So do not think for 1 minute that Jorginho, and yes, he might be a little bit more senior in the years, right, will have that level of experience that we need. Should a Thomas Partey or Granit Xhaka, more importantly, become injured? Yes, we've got Emil Smith Rowe, and the whole thing about selling ESR, I think is a bit unfair because the operation he had is absolutely huge. That groin operation, I think for 1 minute, it's all right. But I think we do need to give him the benefit of the doubt. But having someone like Jorginho and Emil Smith Rowe to be able to come in and actually rotate around, right, and do that, or Vieira, or whoever it happens to be, next level. And I think Jorginho could actually bring a huge amount. He says. So no, I generally think it's actually a very smart buy. And I'm with you, Rich. We should have potentially maybe looked at this a bit sooner. I think there was a concept around Chelsea and their buying piece. Now, I hope that, like I look at that and I look at financial fair play and I sit there and think, hang on a sec, how the hell can you spend all of this money? And there's some stats I'm going to bring up on Thursday, hopefully, depending on how we get on in and around that, how Chelsea are bypassing financial fair play, but they have to jettison some of the bits that go on there, and all the fans, was it not all the fans, Richard, turn around and saying, we were taking the Man City rejects. Was it not the Man City rejects that we were taking? Well, mate, listen, if Jorginho could be a Chelsea reject, I believe he's going to bring to us a whole load of really, really great experience. This guy's played in the World Cup. He's played it, and going back to the point that was made earlier is why aren't we not buying people with Premiership experience? We're already of the agreement. We've already of the agreement that we turned around and said that actually, Sambi's not good enough. He might need a loan or might need to sell him. That's going to happen. So Mo, we're never going to see Mo again. Unfortunately, his contract runs out at the end of the year. He's got and I wish him all the best and speedy recovery. He's a nicer guy. I don't think we could kind of get, but he's not good enough. No, he's just not good enough where we are right now. He's got this injury. He's not going to be playing ever again for us. So someone like Jorginho could come in and do a job. Absolutely, 100%. And for me, so if I could have Yuri Tielemans, right, and Jorginho, right, in that middle. So I'm being greedy, by the way. So having two in there, I think that's our full backup. That's full complement of what we need.
I mean, I totally agree with you about Jorginho, and I've seen a lot of comments from Arsenal fans saying, "Oh no, we don't want him. Why would you not want a player that's got that experience in the position that we're in? Yes, he's not part of this project that we're building for the future with these young players that are going to grow and develop. He's not a part of that, but to help that situation improve, you do need experienced players, and he's perfect for what we need right at this moment in time. He's not a long-term signing, no, but we don't worry about the long-term at this moment in time. We need to get us over the line this season in where we want to be, and he's going to be the sort of player that can do that for us, and I'll be 100% behind the signing of Jorginho. I don't care how old he is. I don't care that he plays for Chelsea. I don't care about all that other stuff. What I care about is what can he bring to us right now, between now and the end of this season in particular. And I think there's a lot he can offer us in terms of experience and quality on the pitch. Yeah. And
just look how flamboyant his penalty kicks are. I mean, just to see that, just for that alone, it's worth buying. He's worth buying just for that.
Well, no, I think he's definitely worth buying anyway. And we've got a comment here from Football. He says Chelsea sign Enzo now. Can they win their third Champions League this season if all their players will be available? Well, they'll have a chance, won't they? I don't know if all of them can play in the Champions League. Can they? Some of them might be cup tie potential. I'm not really sure, but anyway, they'll have a great chance with all the players they've bought. But have they got enough time to gel as a team? That's the problem, isn't it? Next season they might be strong, but once they've had time to adapt all these new players, it's like anything, isn't it? You buy 10 new players at once. You're not going to be able to fit them straight into a team, are you? You need to work on that, and it takes time. And whether they'll be able to do it this season or not, we'll have to wait and see. But that kind of makes me believe that Chelsea would be willing to move Jorginho on, because they don't need him now. He's excess, to requirements. And people say, well, if he's not good enough for Chelsea, why is he good enough for us? Well, because we're in different situations to Chelsea. What we need and what they need are different. And we need a player like Jorginho to come in. So I would be 100% behind it. Nigel's made a good comment here. So I'm concerned about Chelsea's transfer strategy. It seems revolutionary. As an Arsenal fan, I hope it blows up in their face. Well, I mean, we've been saying that for 25 years. We hope that Chelsea's policy blows up in their face, and it hasn't done, because they still keep winning everything, which is annoying.
Whoa, Rich, hang on that. So long may Potter continue on as the manager, because obviously all they do is they follow our Twitter feed. Because Potter, all he does is he looks at what's on the Arsenal Twitter feed, then they go after it. And Amari Hutchinson, how you feeling right now for game time, big man? Yeah, enjoy that one. Yeah. Enjoy that one. Enjoy what you did with your signings and everything else that's going on. Off you go. I just think, look. The bottom line is, I don't think Jorginho's a reject. I genuinely don't.
No, he's not.
I think we need rotation within the team. There's a message, I'm sure you'll put that up, in and around, we're going to see Xhaka drop off. No, we're not. We're not going to see Xhaka drop off. What we're going to see is Xhaka get 5 minutes peace and quiet when we're playing, we're playing, I would play Jorginho in one of the Europa League games. Like happily. The guy's got the experience. He's a winner. He's a ball winner.
Would he be able to play in that, though? Would he be able to play in that if he's played in the Champions League?
In Champions, I think. Let me check. While we're doing that.
I'm not sure if he can. I mean, it would seem strange to buy a player now that can't play in the Europa League, because that's something we need the squad for. But having said that, then if he's available in the Premier League and not the Europa League, then that's an option, a rotation option, isn't it? But I'm not sure if you can play in both those competitions. That's all in the same season. So I don't know about that. But in terms of Chelsea's strategy, it seems to be offering players on a long-term contract so they can pay it off over a longer period of time. So that seems to be what they're doing, and it seems to be kind of working. Maybe that's what gets them around the FFP kind of stuff, really. Loki says there, I'm doing my tax return tomorrow, last minute as usual. Well, I'm sure you'll be doing yours the same day as Chelsea are doing theirs, I think, trying to get it all in.
Yeah, make sure you bump up your mileage, mate. Make sure you bump your mileage up. So according to the Sun, the font of all knowledge, can January signings still play in the Champions League and Europa League? Since the 2018-19 season, UEFA confirmed that it no longer matters whether players have played in the same competition for another club, even for another club still in the competition.
Oh, because do you remember when we signed Aubameyang? He wasn't allowed to play in the Europa League, was he, that season with us? Because he had played for Dortmund in it earlier on in the season. So, it's good that they've changed that rule, because I think it's a ridiculous rule anyway in the first place. It's always been like the away goals rule was ridiculous. That's a ridiculous rule. So it's a positive thing they've got rid of it. So the good news is then Jorginho can play in the Europa League. Should we sign him? Which is fantastic. So that's even more reason to be happy if we get him.
Should we buy Tielemans? Absolutely.
Colonel's in the chat. Hey, my friend. He says, "Hey, how you both? Yeah, we're well." He says, "Wish we had a plan B lined up in midfield like Savic or a late bid for Tielemans." Well, maybe Jorginho is this kind of backup plan B, isn't he? Maybe that's what. Or maybe it wasn't a plan B. Maybe it was plan A.
I think it's plan D, mate.
Well, yeah, maybe. I'm not sure. Terry says, we've known we needed a DM since the summer, and we've left it until the last minute again. Jorginho, in my eyes, is a step backwards, and Edu needs to go if we buy him. Yeah, but if Jorginho comes in and helps us win the Premier League, then that would,
Terry, mate,
Well,
are you having a bad day? Is there a lot of call-outs going on or so? He's had a few call-outs today. Obviously, he's having a bit of a bad day today, mate.
The way I look at it is this, right? And Nigel mentioned Sambi Lokonga. He said Sambi Lokonga could use a loan spell. I don't have much faith he will come good. No, we don't either. We've mentioned him already today. He says very much in the vein of a Chuba Akpom. Well, maybe slightly better than Chuba Akpom, perhaps. But I mean, Sambi Lokonga is Terry. The example is: would you rather have Sambi Lokonga as our backup midfield player or Jorginho? I personally would rather have Jorginho. It's not a step backwards, is it? It's a step forwards from Lokonga. Pretty much anybody in the Premier League that we buy would be a step up from Lokonga. So
mate, Rich,
it's not
you and I would be a step up. I'm going to throw one at you. I'm going to throw one little curveball. Did you happen to see Balogun's goal against PSG?
I did, yeah, I did.
What are you thinking? Would you keep him or would you sell him?
I would keep him out on loan.
Would you? Yeah. So, what you think? Another season on loan and bring him back?
Potentially, yeah. I think obviously this loan's done him a world of good because he's scoring goals. He's brilliant at the minute. You've got to remember though that the level of the French league is not the level of the Premier League, and just because he's scoring goals in the French league doesn't mean he can come in the Premier League and get 20 goals a season, or he's going to do better than Eddie's doing. I would keep him on loan for the rest of this season. He gets that experience. Next season we'd have to rethink again, but I think when it comes to next season, especially we're going to be in the Champions League almost certainly now, it may be better for him to get loaned out again. Yeah. He's still young. He's still got time. And another loan, maybe, I would maybe loan him in England to maybe a Championship team where he's going to get kicked to bits every week.
Lower end Premier team.
Something like that. I would personally do that myself. That would be my option for him. But yeah, I definitely wouldn't sell him because I think he could have the potential to be either a very good player that can do a job for us, or we could sell him for a lot of money because he's got the potential to be really good.
I know he signed a 5-year contract, and I think this is the first year of his 5-year contract. I totally agree with you. I would love to see him in it's wrong to say a Premiership team like a Southampton, for instance, somewhere like that he could go in and get some Premiership experience as a striker, be a front man, get some game time, and then sell him for a lot of money.
See, I think it might be better to put him in the Championship because once he goes in the Premier League, then if he doesn't score many goals because he's playing in a team that don't create many chances like a Southampton, then everyone will say, oh, he's not good enough for the Premier League. Whereas if he's in the Championship and he scores a lot of goals in the Championship, then it kind of boosts his reputation more, doesn't it? Like he's doing in the French league, scoring goals there. I don't know. That could be a better bet. Loki says Barca are still paying for Overmars on the knock. Yeah, they probably are. Yeah, and Petit as well because they got both of them at the same time, didn't they?
And Henri. That was fun. And Henri as well. Yeah.
Well, yeah, Henri was a bit later, but yeah. Colonel says the problem with a Jorginho is he will still want to start. And do we drop Xhaka in the form of his? Well, no, it doesn't matter whether he wants to start. You want players who, obviously, you want every single player in your squad, all 25 of your players should want to start games. That's what they're there for. If they don't want to start, I don't want them because that's what they should be doing. Will he start every game? No, of course he won't. Will he come if he knows he's not going to start every game? We don't know. But that's what a squad is, isn't it? You can't play 25 players. You can only play 11. Only 11 can start, and all of them should want to start every single game. So I'll be disappointed if he doesn't want to start. But would you leave him out ahead of Xhaka? No, we wouldn't. But he's a good option to come on, isn't he?
He's not starting now. He's not starting now.
No, exactly. He's not starting now. No, you're right. So where would he rather be? Would he rather be on a bench at Arsenal winning the Premier League, or rather be on a bench at Chelsea losing every game every week because they're crap? What would he rather do?
And the other one is with the potential of not even getting into Europe, which would be really funny. Well, even Europa Conference, they would not even get in there. Like the way things go.
They might not at the minute. No, they need a big turnaround in form. And Nigel says, "Bring back Guendouzi."
Only to throw hot dogs at him. That's the only reason I'd bring that idiot back. No. And again, no. I can't stand the bloke.
Loki says people complained about Gilberto Silva. Yeah, exactly. They did. And look what a great job he did for us. So, yeah, I'm all in favour of Jorginho, I must admit. I started hearing about it today, and the more I'm thinking about it, the more I'm thinking, yes, let's get that done. If we can get Caicedo as well, brilliant. But get Jorginho in because I think it'd be perfect what we need right now.
And
we learned from previous Chelsea rejects, I would sooner have the burger seller step in to come up. Yeah, but is he a Chelsea reject? He's still a very good player. He's an international player. He's played in international finals. He's played in Champions League. He's won Champions League. You know what I mean? He's a top experienced player, and that's exactly the sort of player that we need. It doesn't matter that he plays for Chelsea. It doesn't matter. It does not matter.
This will not be a Willian. This will not be a Willian. I'm telling you now. Pep Guardiola does not come out, and I go back to what I'm saying. Pep Guardiola does not come out and say what he says. The Pep Guardiola never loses to buying players, and Chelsea bought him. So, guys, look, I'm telling you, this is a class player, and if it's a season, 2 seasons, whatever it happens to be, and it's enough for us to win the league, right, and win Europa. Yeah. Think about what that would mean for Arsenal as a club. Irrelevant, and then we get rid of him. Like I know that sounds ruthless and horrible, right? But ultimately, this is a multi-millionaire who's got loads and loads of money. So he will find somewhere, whatever happens. But if that guy is enough, along with Trossard and people like that, to get us over the line, to beat Man City, to actually win the Europa League, to be top. Imagine that last game of the season. We've battered Tottenham home and away, right? We've won against every TalkSport idiot pundit. We've actually come in and beaten everybody that we've said, right? We win the league and we win Europa League, and just because we've got what's it? Well, we've got a couple of older Chelsea players. We've got a Brighton player that everybody's saying, Trossard, all this. Yeah.
Imagine that's the thing, isn't it? I mean, you talk about that, right? Yeah, I mean, Jorginho isn't getting in the Chelsea team, we're struggling, but that doesn't matter. We bought Trossard from Brighton. He's 28 years old and he plays for Brighton. And you could say, well, why are we buying a player from Brighton for? Brighton are rubbish. Why are we buying their players? But look what a good player he is. Other teams can have good players that. Just because they don't have a good team, they can still have good players that can come in and do a job for us. And Jorginho is exactly what we need right now with his experience. And there's going to be plenty of games this season where we're winning 1-0 away from home, right? Tough game, Liverpool away or something like that. They're under pressure. We're losing it in midfield. You bring Jorginho on and he does the job and gets us over the line, gets us the 3 points.
Little Rolls Royce, 1-0 or 1-0. Yeah. Guys, look, it's the small parts, right? It's the small, and it's the experience that the winning mentality that Zinchenko has brought, and Jesus. Those guys have won everything. Irrelevant as to whether they sat on the bench, they were there. They were part of it, and you can see that when Zinchenko, like, oh Jesus Christ, at the end of the day, the FA has started to fine him because he's happy about winning. Oh my God, like seriously, you're like, oh God, yeah. Please don't be so happy about the fact that you're winning. You're top of the league. And you're all bitter and twisted about it. So like I don't get it. We have to win. We have to get that top 4. And hey, God forbid, let's say we went on a bad run. There's a message here about Europa League. Why does it matter? God forbid that we don't actually get top 4. I mean, we might go on a bad run or whatever. I'm not saying that we will, but let's say something happens really seriously as a team that we don't get it. We've got to win the Europa League. Right, and the other part
I'd like to win everything. I don't care what competition it is. Let's just win it. Why pick? We can't afford to pick and choose what we might or might not win. We need to try and win at whatever we can. We've already had 2 cup competitions. We've only got 2 left. Let's throw everything at trying to win both of them, I say. And if we win one of them, we'll be happy. If we win the biggest one out of the 2, we'll be even more happy. But why not try and win them both?
We have got to be in the Champions League, gentlemen. Right, we've got to be in the Champions League above everything else because of the money it brings into the play, because of the nights that we're going to have at the Emirates as fans, and because of what it's going to mean for our team and our manager. The one thing that worries me, right? So here's the one thing I've been having some conversations about it. And sorry, Rich, if we're going off in a slightly different direction. But let's say, for instance, Pep Guardiola this season, his likelihood is that he'll do it. He goes and wins the Champions League, right? Man City. Haaland, they're all doing that. They're kissing the thing, right? And he then leaves, right? What does that mean? Who do you think they'll come after? I think they're going to come after Arteta.
Of course they are.
Yeah. So if we're not winning, like, we're not going to bin off some trophy thing because we think, we're going to win in the league's more important. We've got to go after every single thing. And that would have hurt. Like, Friday would have hurt Arteta more than it probably hurt the fans, right? So we have to put everything in. And so someone like Jorginho can come in and just save Granit Xhaka's legs for a semi-final or a quarter-final or a final of the Europa League, then put the money down and do it. If it means that when we go to Liverpool, the Granit Xhaka's on a yellow and we need to bring him off, right, and we've got a player that can just calm everybody down, and then we got to go and do that.
We don't even necessarily need to bring Xhaka off. We could be a game where you bring an extra midfield player on to just gain control of the ball. That's what maybe take Eddie off, bring Jorginho on if we're winning 1-0 away from home in the last 10 minutes. And he's the sort of player that can come on and do that job. We bring on Rob Holding at the minute when we're 1-0 up away from home. Who would you rather bring on, Rob Holding or Jorginho? I know I'd rather bring on someone who's actually got class and experience at the top level and knows what it takes to win things. Sorry, Rob, you're a lovely guy. We love you. We love your new hair and everything else, but
that man has fabulous hair.
It cost him enough money, but it was worth it because it is amazing. Nigel says, why aren't we going for someone like Declan Rice? My guess would be money. That's the reason why, because he's very expensive. I agree. He's a great player, but
on a bad run. Like they're on a bad run. They're on a bad run.
They're not going to sell him to us. They are not going to sell Declan Rice to us now. Maybe in the summer, potentially in the summer. Yeah. Neil says, that defeats the object for me. It's always been a stupid rule. Yeah, the one we mentioned before about not being able to play for two clubs in the same competition. Neil says Gilberto was such an unsung hero. He was brilliant.
Certainly agree.
Terry says if it was Jorginho of the 70s, I'd say yes. Well, yeah, obviously, I think we all would. Although he'd be about 65 now, wouldn't he? So maybe.
No, Terry, would you want the flares and the big collars, mate? That's what I want to know. I want to know the flares and the big collars, mate. Is that what we're talking about? Because I'd love it.
Yeah, that'd be good. Yeah,
it's an interesting one. So Sacedo's the big one. So Brighton today have bought a Swedish midfielder, holding midfielder out of FC Molde. They've spent not much, but they bought another midfielder. So do we have a bit of shenanigans going on? We've signed the usual kind of thing of Arsenal. Is Arsenal are very quiet about what they do? Have we actually signed him, or have they agreed to deal in principle and they're just waiting to get somebody else? The talk is we've gone back for Tielemans as well, and I think Tielemans would be a brilliant buy for us.
See, I think that ship might have sailed a little bit. I think maybe last summer Tielemans might have been a good signing at that time. Now I'm not sure if he would be. I mean, I'm not saying it would be a bad signing. I just feel that we maybe should be looking a little bit higher.
You think so, Rich? You got.
I think Tielemans is a good player. I think he's a good player, and I do like him. And I say in the summer, I thought he'd have been a brilliant signing for us in the summer because at that time we were thinking, well, we've got to get in the top four, and he'd have been a great player to help us do that. Now we're trying to win titles. We're trying to we're trying to play in the Champions League next season, preparing for that. And I don't know. I think we need to maybe look long term. We need to be looking like better than Tielemans. As he's a good player. And if he came in now and did a job till the end of the season, then that'd be great. But is he part of that long-term kind of plan? No, Jorginho isn't either. But Jorginho isn't coming in for that reason, is he? Jorginho's coming in for the here and now to get us over the line in them games.
So Rich, I know you're the host, mate. Let me throw one at you then. So there's a whole load of players that we're obviously as always, with Arsenal. I think we're linked with so many players. We could probably fill our team 4 or 5 times over. Out of everybody you're seeing, Saicedo being one, Tielemans being the other one, the gentleman, I can't remember his name, the big lad over at Everton, Ameo or whatever, I can't remember.
Yeah. Anana.
Anana, that's it. So, which sounds like a Rihanna song.
I like his name. That's what I mean. I just like his name. It'd be good to sign him just for that. I'm sure we get a good song for him, couldn't we?
You could see the Rihanna song just for him. Who would you take? Who would you take out of everybody we've got? So you're Edu. You're sitting there. You're on the phone. Who would you go for? Who would be your man?
I mean, at the moment, see, with everybody that we've been linked with, I think that Casado's a great player at Brighton, and I do think he'd be a great investment long term as well because he's young, he's going to get better, he's going to improve, but he's very, very expensive. And is that a sensible option right at this moment? I'm not sure. That Anana at Everton, again, he looks like he could be a very good player.
Yeah.
Is he the player now when we're challenging for the title? Is he the sort of player that you'd want to come in now to help get us out? No, for the future, long-term signing, maybe in the summer, I would say yes, potentially, both of those two. Right now, we need someone with experience that's got that Premier League know-how. And Jorginho now, the more I keep thinking about Jorginho, he's the one I want more than anybody else. He's the one I want for what we need right now. And then get rid of him in the summer, that's fine. But get him in now on a short-term deal, loan maybe, whatever it might be. Just get him in because he can do a job in certain games that we're going to need him. Europa League as well, I think his experience would be vital in certain Premier League games as well. And buy them others save up some money, put a couple of quid away every week, and in the summer buy a Nana, buy them all in the summer.
Nice. I think in the summer is what we look. So there's a few comments that be going on about this moment in time. So when I look at someone like Mason Mount, for instance, like he's an attacking midfielder, right? That like plays through the middle. They got him playing right back. Like seriously, they got him playing right back. So you can you can see. Hello, Stan, mate. Love your cups, by the way, Stan. I've been looking at those. Really impressed with them, mate. But you can see with you can see that Potter hasn't got a bloody clue of what he's doing at this moment in time. So in that team, so I'm kind of with you. And there's a few people saying that Tielemans is not the right guy. I actually disagree. I think Tielemans would actually be a right fit. Premier League experience, would play second fiddle to Xhaka and Partey and rotate in and out. And I think I'm with you as well. Jorginho would bring that experience for a short term, maybe a loan. I don't know, with wages and some bucks on top. I think that would be a good fit for us on there. So Sacedo's valuation is extremely high. I kind of agree with that.
I mean, obviously it is high. It is high. He's a young player, and Brighton, we know what they're like. We paid over the odds for Ben White. Let's be honest. Although it's worked out well, we did pay over the odds for him. And sometimes you've got to do that to get the player that you want, haven't you? Sometimes, but I'm not sure if Caicedo is worth what they're wanting for him at this moment in time. I'm not sure if he is, and it would worry me. Spending that much money on a player, because it adds to the pressure as well, doesn't it? When they come in as your record signing, and in the position that we're in, I don't know. I think it's a lot of pressure. But I don't know. It would worry me spending that much money. He's a good player, and I do like him, and I think he'd do a great job for us long term. He could be a great investment, but I don't know. I wouldn't want to pay 80 million for him, 75 million for him.
We're talking 100. They're talking 100 million for him, right?
I wouldn't. If we can get him for 56 million, somewhere around then, I would say maybe do it. If it's going to be 70, 80 million, no.
How about we put 15, 20 million into our scouting network and just find someone better? But I think for the summer, Declan Rice for sure. There's it's not just one rumour. There's a hell of a lot of people coming out, incredible sources, rather than the usual Twitter guys. There's a hell of a lot of sources coming out and saying Declan Rice actually wants to come and be part of this project. And why not? Because that kid is a great player. Irrelevant as to what people say, he holds that whole West Ham team together and could do an amazing.
Oh, no, he's brilliant. No, Declan Rice. Yeah, I'd have Declan Rice all day long, but we're not going to get him now. But in the summer, if West Ham go down, we'll almost definitely get him. I would have thought he'll go somewhere if he can play in Champions League. Nigel says City getting rid of Cancelo after selling Zinchenko to Arsenal is eyebrow raising. Yeah, I don't know what's gone on there. Something obviously has happened, doesn't it? We've got a few comments obviously about Balogun. Terry says loan him to Palace or Everton. Neil says Brighton or Palace, loan him. Mark C says he's scoring against big teams and he's playing in bang average League One team. Yeah, Agreed. He is, but it's still a shit league, let's be honest. But he's doing well. There's no doubt about that. Shane's made a good point here. He says, I would send Vieira on loan to Blackpool and bring back Charlie Patino. Seems to me it's a year too early for Vieira in the Premier League. Well, it clearly is a bit early for Vieira in the Premier League, but then he needs to maybe getting that experience is going to help him for next year and in the future. I mean, Charlie Patino, is he ready for the Premier League as well? I'm not really sure if he is. He's playing well.
Leave him alone. Leave him alone. Leave Patino where he is. Leave him where he is.
I agree. Leave him where he is. Yeah. Neil says Patino is going to be so damn good. Yeah, he will. He will be good, but I would say for now, I agree. Leave him where he is. He's doing well, getting experience, playing every week. The fans there love him. He's doing great, and he'll be ready when he comes back to hopefully come in and do a job for us. Loki says, thumbs up, it's free and DJ. Give us all a like if you're enjoying the show. Nigel says there, do we care about the Europa League as Arsenal fans? I reckon we should bin that off as well. No. Don't bin anything off. I don't want to bin anything off. I'd like to win the Europa League. We don't have enough European trophies, do we? And I'd like to win one. So I'd like to win that.
Let me give you a scenario. Let me give you a scenario. We go back a few years. When basically, I can't remember what it was, how the combination worked. We beat Man United. We have a habit of doing that, I know. But we beat Man United. We did whatever it was. And then Tottenham actually won Nixon. Because Chelsea won Champo. That's it. Chelsea won Champo. They were talking, the whole combination kind of came together, right? And it worked out that we managed to stiff Tottenham for their Champions League spot. Nigel, think about that. Imagine if we won the league, won Europa, stiff Tottenham for their Champions League thing, and life was just so good. Life was so good, and we had Jorginho in the team, and then we sold him, like as Terry said. Then we sold him.
Terry says if we buy Jorginho, the Chelsea fans will be over the moon. They think he's crap. May as well bring in Mount as well, and Chelsea's one leg is right back. Yeah, but you see, what Chelsea fans think is irrelevant because they're all a bunch of idiots who don't know what they're on about. So don't listen to what the Chelsea fans say. The Chelsea fans may well be over the moon that they've got rid of Jorginho, but when he wins us the league, they're going to look rather stupid, aren't they? And we'll be laughing at them, won't we, at that point? Saying thanks for helping us to win the league by letting us have your player that you didn't think was good enough for you.
Unleash the dogs. Unleash the dogs of Arsenal. Just unleash them.
Nigel says finishing the season winning only the Europa League will be severely underwhelming. Well, will it though? It's the European trophy, and it's better than winning nothing, isn't it? If we can't win the league, let's win the Europa League. So it won't be underwhelming. It will be a trophy, and I'd be happy with it. Nigel also says that he loves Rob Holdinho. Well, yeah, I mean we all love him and we love his hair, but he's not quite good enough, is he? But anyway,
no.
Mark C says, Nigel, I disagree. We need to win a European trophy for a number of reasons. No, I agree. I'd love to win a European trophy. Yes, if we don't win the league, we're going to be disappointed. But if we've won the Europa League, that will cover up that disappointment, and we'll be happy, won't we? If we win nothing, that's going to be underwhelming. If we win the Europa League, I'm going to be happy that we've won a European trophy. So I won't.
We're in Champions League. We win Europa League. We're in Champions League. It doesn't matter where we finish, guys.
It does. It matters now. We've got 50 points at halfway stage. If we don't finish in the top 4, everyone should be sacked. The players should be sacked. The manager should be sacked. Edu should be sacked. Everybody should be sacked. They should shut the Emirates down and never play football again. If we don't make the top 4 now in the position that we're in, everybody should be sacked. Everybody. The club should be shut down.
Season tickets should be given away to charity.
We should sell all that players to Chelsea. Everything. Just get rid of everyone.
I should be beaten to death with one of Stan's mugs in a sock. That's how bad it is. We don't win.
Yeah. If we don't finish top 4 now, that's it. It's all over.
I didn't say top. No, we've got to win top 4. We've got. If you listen, guys, and it's brilliant. It's brilliant that we're shouting at each other at this moment in time because we could. I can't actually. I'm sort of pinching myself that we could actually win the Premier League, right? If we go back to that season when we bought Peter Cech, and that was the only thing that we bought because everybody was skin, right? That was the one time we had a chance to win the Premier League. That was the last time we genuinely could have won a Premier League. But we are now talking about, right, as Arsenal fans, we're debating and arguing with each other about winning the Premier League. Come on.
What do we want to win? The Premier League or the Europa League? Like 3 years ago, I'd have took anything. I'd have took winning Tiddlywinks. Just anything would have done it. And now we're worried about, well, the Europa League's disappointing. No, it isn't. It's a trophy. Brilliant.
I went honestly. When you see like some of the banter that goes on between the Tottenham fans and myself, they go on about, but we won the Audi Cup and Inter Milan were in that. I don't care. We're talking about winning the Premier League. That's all that matters. We've beaten Liverpool. We've beaten Man United. We've beaten Chelsea. We've beaten all these teams that everybody said, that's going to be a problem. And should we beat that? Yeah, we've still got 19 games to play, Steve. We've still got 19 games to play. Oh yeah, that's true. I forgot about that. But listen. This season, come on. We beat Liverpool, right? We beat Liverpool. How good was that? How good was that when we beat Liverpool at home? Brilliant. We beat Man United. We beat Tottenham at theirs. And as my American, by the way, I want to put. Sorry, mate. I've got to put a shout out to the Detroit Gooders because the Detroit Dallas Gooders, absolutely amazing. They know every single song. They change every song as well. The Tottenham Get Battered song, you know that one. Everywhere they go and at home. Apparently, is what they were saying, which is they were singing was really good. So
I found weird. I saw them videos you sent, right, and they were brilliant. Yeah. But what I can't get my head around the American accent singing those Arsenal songs. It just sounds strange, doesn't it?
Listen, when it's 7 o'clock in the morning, you're doing shots, right, with a bunch of guys you've never met before in your life, and you're waiting for a Premiership game to come on. I didn't really care at that point. Honestly, I genuinely didn't care. But I have to say, anybody. Oh, here's the other one, and it's an over and over again first that we're going to definitely be doing is they do Guna Gras. Did you know this? So the week before Mardi Gras, right, in New Orleans, they do Guna Gras, where every single Guna fan club in America and South America, they go to New Orleans and do the Mardi Gras all in Arsenal tops. Like, I didn't know about this. Who kept quiet about this one? I'm going.
That is incredible. That is pretty cool, actually, to be fair. That is decent. Colonel says he's asked us a bit of a question here. He says, if Arsenal paid 40 million, obviously for Jorginho, then Chelsea put 60 million towards it and signed Rice or Caicedo, would either of you be upset? Well, no, but it's not about that, is it? Chelsea have got the money to buy either of those two regardless. And if they do, they'll buy them anyway. And also it's down to the player, it's down to the agents and all that kind of stuff.
And if we
I don't think it matters.
And if we won the league, would we care?
Exactly, yeah. If we won the league, I wouldn't care. I wouldn't care at all. I wouldn't care at all.
And so if we want, so here, let me put it in a different kind of way, though. And it's a great point. Would I be a bit miffed and like all sort of El Stevo angry? Absolutely, right? But if we won Europa League and we won the league and we're in Champo and Chelsea was still 10th or wherever they happen to be with the Graham Potter magic, there ain't no Harry Potter about Graham Potter, that's for sure. There's no Hogwarts magic there, right? And if they didn't make it, do you think that we would worry about Caicedo? Do you think if we won the Premier League and we were in Champions League, you think we'd even worry? We could have any player we wanted. No, there'll be a queue of them coming to want to play in the Emirates, right?
Plus, Chelsea won't be able to spend any money anyway soon because they've run out of money. They've run out of availability to spend any money anyway. So we don't need to worry about them. Let them do what they like. We're competing on a different playing field to Chelsea.
It's our narrative.
They're fighting for scraps in mid-table. We're going for the big trophies. You know what I mean? Let them crack on. Mark C says it's been way too long since he won a European trophy. Well, it has. 29 years, isn't it? 29 years, nearly 30 years. Well,
I'm a bottle in, so I'm feeling a little frisky. There you go.
Can't beat a bit of Saturday Night Fever, indeed. You can't. That's a great film, actually. Great soundtrack. We do love a bit of that. Definitely. Nigel says that Tielemans is not at the level required if we are looking to build a years-long deal. No, I agree. I don't think he is. He would have been last year. Probably would have been. I think we've moved a little bit quicker now. Terry says, I just had a Nana sandwich for lunch. It's a bit late for lunch, isn't it? Anyway. Shane says that I would rather White play DM and Tommy right back if needed if we don't sign anyone. Yeah, I can't see that happening though because I won't want to disrupt that play. Ben White's been so good at right back, hasn't he? He won't want to change that. Really.
You think so?
He's been good at right back. He's settled into it well. He's settled into it.
He has settled into it. I'll give you that, but I am of the opinion. That actually Tomiyasu a bit better on the right. I like Tomiyasu better. That's all because he's a bit more aggressive.
Yeah, maybe. Terry says bring Jorginho in the summer so we can sell him before the season starts. Well, you see, I know you obviously you don't like Jorginho, Terry, and we accept that. That's fine. But would you rather we buy nobody or buy Jorginho? As things stand at this moment in time, that's the question you need to be asking because it may well come down to that. It may be Jorginho or nobody, and I would rather Jorginho. In fact, I'd rather Jorginho than most players that we've been mentioned with. But certainly, he's going to be better than nobody, isn't he? And I think that's something that we need to think about. I think that's what we need to think about there. Terry says, I'm not an Arteta sexual, but at this moment, if Arteta says I want Caicedo, then I trust him. That's what we should go. But he's saying he wants Jorginho as well. So why don't you trust him on that one?
Or is that Edu? Could be Edu.
Maybe Edu. No, but I suppose he's got a Brazilian name. That's probably why Edu likes him.
Yeah.
But anyway, Stan says would like us to win Europa. We can then cross it off the list. Exactly, yeah. Sure. And then it's only the Champions League left, then, isn't it? Let's just win that next season. There you go.
Yeah, next season's Premier League again. Premier League, Europa this season, Champo next season. Done. Like that's it.
Exactly. And Loki says winning stuff feels nice. It does. I can't really remember what it feels like to win too many big things recently, but I'm sure it will come back to us quite quickly when it happens. Stan says that we must keep Rob Holding at all costs. He brings the birds in. Well, he does with that hair. The birds can nest in his hair now, so it's fine. He's good to have around, isn't he? Neil says we'll win the Prem. Well, Neil's been saying that since August or July.
You've got to give it to Neil first. Yeah. Like as we turn around and said, when do we think we're all going to finish? That Neil actually turned around and went, "We're going to win." He actually said, "We're going to win the Prem." But then
I know he did in July.
It's every
he
season.
Said it was it that pre-season game when we won 6-0 or something? He said, didn't he? Jesus scored 4 goals, and he said, "That's it. We're going to win the Premier League. Jesus is going to get Golden Boot," and he got a bit excited, didn't he? But maybe he was right after all. We should listen to him. Anyway, Shane says lads, is this Ashburton Army a new thing or has it been around a long time? I mean, it's been building. It's really come to the fore this season. They've been around for a couple of years or so. They're all young lads and they're doing a great job, aren't they? I don't know why they wear black though. I find that a little bit strange, but anyway,
well, it's an interesting one that I think Adam put it up the other day. We were talking about the Ashburton Army. Now they tell the police exactly where they're going to start from. They tell the police where they're going to be marching, and I happen to be marching with them. Right. And you know what? At first I sat back and thought, do we have these sort of ultras? Are they dangerous? Are they actually no, they're very well behaved. They're actually really nice. They actually and they had all the flares, they're under the tunnel by the Emirates. The police knew exactly where they were, what they were doing, and they bring a different level. When they're in the stands, they bring a different level of shouting. And I have to say, and I've got to put my hand, I've got to applaud every single Arsenal fan at that Man United game, because I genuinely could not hear the bin dippers in the away end. I really couldn't. It was brilliant, really good.
Yeah, I mean, the atmosphere is turned around massively, hasn't it, over the last year or so, definitely, which is what's been needed. And you can see the difference it's made to results at home. It's just, it's a fortress, isn't it? A bit like Newcastle's the same now, isn't it? They don't lose at home because they've got that support. We're the same now, and that's what we've needed. And Neil says there's too much personality and character plus belief in this team. Well, there is at the moment in time. You're absolutely right. And Neil said there at the start we still had 38 games. We did still have 38 games, and now we've got 19, and we're still where you thought we would be, which is pretty good, isn't it? Colonel says if Jose goes back to Chelsea, would that worry either of you? No, I'd laugh, quite honestly, if he went back to Chelsea.
Again, you got to look at the great
force, isn't he?
Yeah, he's everyone's sustenance. It's moved on. So if you look at Premier League in waves, the way it works, mate, we had Arsene Wenger that absolutely changed the way that we did things. That was one thing. You had Pep Guardiola that then came after it. You had Mourinho at the same time. You had Ferguson and stuff. But Mourinho is just an old miserable old git now. And I hope he goes back to Tottenham, personally. I think that's where he deserves to be.
I mean, to be honest with you, it's like, would Man City be worried if we brought George Graham back as manager? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just because the manager was successful once doesn't mean they can still be successful now when football's changed. Terry says Neil's my hero. Neil's all of our heroes, Terry. So that's fine.
We love him.
And Nigel says Steve-O's jersey is giving me Unai Emery PTSD.
Listen, Nigel. I'm just reminding you of where you could be. Not where we are, mate. It's where we could be right now. We ain't together. And is Europa? We've got to win Europa League, and we could win the league, or we could be with Emery.
It is an Unai Emery vibe there, that top, but it is quite nice.
You could be Aston Villa. You could be Aston Villa, mate. Right now. Now think about that. Just let that work away. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you've got to remember your past to enjoy the present and the future, haven't you? So that's what it's all about, isn't it? And, we did enjoy Unai Emery very briefly for about 2 games. Neil says, I love you, Terry. Indeed, yeah, we all have Terry as well. We're all just one big happy family here, aren't we? Let's be honest. All of us are. All the guys in the chat, everyone that comes on the channel and everybody else. It's great. So, but yes, obviously tomorrow is the big day. It's like Christmas and your birthday, only in reverse, because it's actually a horrible day that I hate completely. But anyway.
Why do you hate it?
Well, there's lots of reasons. One, because of all the hype that goes with it. Also, as well, why do you need to sign a player on the last day when you've got a whole month to do it? Just, sign players whenever you want. Don't sign them at 11 o'clock on deadline day. it's ridiculous. It's just pointless. Let's not have a deadline day. Really, let's. It's a new thing, isn't it? Deadline day is a new thing. I don't like it. Let's maybe stagger it out so that there isn't one deadline day. That you can buy players that end in a C. Their surname ends in a C on one day, and then end in a Z on another day, and that's how you can do it. So you can stagger it away, maybe, so make it a little bit more interesting.
I don't know. It's not more. For me, it's more. They talk about transfer tab, and I think more it's like a North London pub fight for me. To be honest with you, I love it. I love the whole thing. And I always remember that day when we woke up, we bought about 8 players, like just randomly, like just that randomly lucky dip bag of football players that we bought. Look, I think it's just all part and parcel of what makes this so much fun. It makes it so much fun being a fan in the Premier League. I've got to say, with my colleague Rich, he turned around and said, "You guys in the UK do not know how lucky you are with the Premier League and what it is." And he said, "Forget European football," and he does watch all of the European football as well. So Steve turned around and said, "I just love the Premier League for the very fact that you guys." Yeah, you guys come up with words and sayings that he can't even figure out, but because being American. But he also turns around and says it's just a passion, drive, and everything that we put in. And the transfer day is just all part and parcel of it, isn't it?
It is. It's all part of modern football, and to me, it's one of the kind of bad things about modern football, if I'm honest. I just don't really like that. It's quite Americanized thing, isn't it? Do you remember when Sky first got involved in the Premier League? They was having like cheerleaders on at half time or that kind of stuff. They tried to Americanize it all, and the transfer deadline day is just a big American thing, isn't it? It's overblown hype, really, and it leads to all crap on stuff. All these rumours and this team's buying this player, this team's buying that player. No, just let them get on with it. And when it happens, it happens. And in Sky Sports News, literally tomorrow is going to be. I'm avoiding it completely because I just hate watching it. It's horrible at the best of times. And
I'll update you on WhatsApp. Don't worry, Rich. I'll send it to you on WhatsApp. I'll just keep. The whole lot. But everybody, just keep flooding his Twitter timeline with like rumours. That's what we've got to do. Keep.
That's what it's full of anyway. It's always full of bloody rumours anyway. But let's go to our reporter outside Stoke City's ground for their latest. So who cares? Nobody's bothered, mate. Just
come on.
Go.
Oh, listen, come on. When Man United go out and buy Weghorst or whatever, his Waterhorse or whatever, when you go out and buy Weghorst, that's got to be fun. Come on, that's got to be the funniest. There's everybody going on about Jorginho, right? They go out and buy Weghorst from Burnley, for God's sake. Or get him on loan, for God's sake. Honestly. Right? Who would you have? Mate, who would you have? Here you go, Rich. Weghorst as a striker to back up Eddie, or would you have Jorginho? I know where I would go. I know exactly.
I know Jorginho, obviously. Maybe Terry needs to answer that one because he's the one who doesn't want us to get Jorginho. Maybe Terry needs to tell us who would rather have.
Weghorst or Jorginho? Where you go with that, mate? Come on.
That was a good question, actually.
Silence.
Colonel says, I didn't mind Unai Emery. What let him down was he was arrogant not to speak fluent English like Bielsa. Yeah, I mean, I don't know if it was arrogance, really. But, I mean, learning languages is quite difficult. Learning English in particular is really difficult, isn't it? And, I'm sure he tried and he did his best, didn't he? But, I don't suppose his communication was great and that didn't help him, obviously. But... Neil says, I'm with you, read a transfer deadline. Rich, not a fan. This dragging it out is just not good. No, I don't like it at all. Terry says, Jorginho would definitely come under a C day for me. I don't understand that.
Terry, I think he's being rude.
Oh, is he? Right, okay, no problem. Loki says, Arshavin was a fun day. Well, that was, it was snow. I seem to remember it was snowing, wasn't it, when we bought Arshavin?
What's his name? Who's the Usmanov? Didn't Usmanov have something to do with that? Because he could. Yeah, and he's at Everton as well. He's doing well, wasn't he?
Yeah. We wouldn't be allowed to buy Arshavin now, of course, because he's Russian, and you're not allowed Russians in the country, so we wouldn't have been allowed to buy him, would we? But anyway,
Rich, stop that. I'm not going into that one. Not going into that one, seriously, mate. That's 4 bottles of wine, brandy, and everything else that goes with that one, that conversation.
Terry says January transfer window was just a way of buying yourself out of trouble mid-season. Yeah, exactly.
That's
do you remember when it used to be?
Well done, Terry.
In the old days, it used to be, didn't it, where you could buy players up to the end of March or something, couldn't you? At any time, but you had to buy them by the end of March. And why not go back to that system? That worked fine. Do you know what I mean? It just buy players whenever you want. Doesn't matter, does it? Just have the rules in place to stop teams overspending and use them properly. These SFP rules, actually use them to stop teams buying loads of players. But have the window open all the time. It doesn't matter. Buy players whenever you want. Nathan's in the chat. He says, "Great show, lads. I'm going to get some shut eye. Enjoy the rest of the night. Cheers, mate. See you tomorrow. Enjoy your evening." Loki says, Harry Redknapp's at the car door like a pin spin.
No.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh my God! Yeah,
he loved it, didn't he? Actually, the transfer deadline day was actually invented by Harry Redknapp, I think, just to give him something to do. Because
was it a tax dodge for him?
Yeah, it probably was. It probably.
I'm allowed to say that. I'm allowed to say that, or the YouTube police will come and get us.
Well, they might do, but who cares? So anyway, that is the Arsenal review for this week. It's been a lot of fun. We lost the game, but we were going to lose one eventually, and let's lose that one if we're going to lose any. Yeah. We've got a tough game at the weekend against Everton, but their Everton, Sean Dyche, his 1970s style football isn't going to be good enough to beat Arsenal. And tomorrow's transfer deadline day, and we may well buy Jorginho, who's got a 1970s name as well, which is quite cool.
Love that.
Terry said, should only have a summer transfer. Well, yeah, that's the other option, isn't it? But then, you're going to get all these big teams are going to complain, well, what if we get injuries? Well, it's tough shit, isn't it? I agree. Have one transfer window or just allow teams to buy anybody anytime. Or just put a limit on a number of players that anybody can buy in one season. So you can only buy 4 players a season. You can buy whenever you want, but you can only buy 4 a season. That's what they should do. And that way then,
a rolling transfer window all the way through. And then it stops all the nonsense, doesn't it? It stops all the silliness.
And it stops all the prices. On transfer deadline day, you get all these deals going on where a team will say, well, we're not going to accept less than 50 million. And then suddenly it gets to 5 to 12 and they think, shit, we're going to be stuck with this. But you can have him for 25 million. You know what I mean? It's stupid. Let's just get rid of all that. Get rid of all that. The only people that benefit from that is agents. And we don't want agents to benefit from anything. So have a transfer window that's open all season round. You can only buy 4 players each. And that's it. And there you go, done. Job's done, and we crack on. That's what we should do. And you can buy them at any time you like.
You should bring a law out to triple tax any agent whatsoever. That's what I'm thinking.
Well, just don't let them earn any money. Just kick them out of the game. They don't. What does a player need an agent for? If a player is too stupid to negotiate their own contracts, they don't deserve them. They don't deserve the contract in the first place.
Kevin De Bruyne actually negotiates his own contracts and has them.
Well, there you go. So why can't everybody else? What else have they got to do in the afternoon? You know what I mean? They finish training at 1 o'clock, 12 o'clock, whatever it is. They can work on their contracts in the afternoon. Give them something to do rather than keep them out of betting shops and stuff like that and keep them out of trouble. You know what I mean? Negotiate their own contracts.
Mate, I can't possibly comment. But most of them are just too thick to do it. But from what I understand, anyway, that's it. But listen, I think it's going to be a great transfer deadline day. I think Terry's going to be really happy with Jorginho. Jorginho gets us to the winning the Premiership. We're going to win Europa League. It's going to be absolutely amazing. Boilers are going to be selling left, right, and centre because the Tories will be kicked out and that zero emissions nonsense disappeared. Terry's going to be in his job for the rest of the days. All sorts. It's going to be good.
Yeah, he's going to be good, yeah. And Terry says, enjoyed tonight once Steve has had plenty to drink. He said, well done, Richard and Steve and all in the chat. Great show. He says, love you too, Neil, indeed. It has been a good show. I've enjoyed it. And yeah, it's all a lot of fun at the minute while we're doing well. And let's hope it continues because that's what we want to see. So coming on up on the channel then, you are doing your show on Thursday, are you, Steve, with Adam?
Yes, mate. So we're looking at a couple of things. Obviously, what's hot, what's not. Looking at some of the stats. I want to look at financial fair play. There's a couple of bits on financial fair play that I want to look at around a Chelsea piece because I'm not particularly happy about it, if I'm honest with you. I understand, obviously, you've been better rules. So we're going to be having a look at that. Provocative. Looking at some of the Twitterati, because seriously, honestly, some of the stuff that I've been tagging Adam in, interesting. So if you've got 5 minutes, if you've got a little bit of time in your life, you want to come in and have a bit of fun, come and see us on Thursday. It's gonna be the usual banter. I think I might switch to Cider. I think Cider might even play some 70s tunes. I'm thinking just for Terry, gonna play some 70s tunes, get into it, and maybe see if I can find a medallion to go with it, just to get everybody a chopper and a medallion. That's what I'm thinking. Have the old rally chopper parked outside.
That would be fun. So that's going to be good on Thursday. Definitely join the guys for that. Terry says, looks like I could become a Herne Bay fan by the end of tomorrow. Well, no, because I think Herne Bay are after Jorginho as well. So maybe you want to avoid Herne Bay as well.
Bidding war right there, mate. Bidding war.
Loki says, get the whiskey out. Yeah, we'll probably have to do tomorrow. And Neil says, great show, lads. Enjoyed it. Loves you all in the chat. Take care, lads. And yourself, mate. Hopefully we'll speak very soon. Terry says, count me in, Steve. There you go. You see, Terry's in on Thursday for that show. It sounds like it's going to be good fun, actually. So definitely tune in for that 8 o'clock on Thursday night. And then, of course, there's all the watch-alongs coming up at the weekend. Of course, Everton versus Arsenal, and then the Arsenal women playing West Ham on Sunday evening. So that's going to be good. There's rumours that the women might be signing Alicia Russo, which could be exciting, couldn't it, on transfer deadline day? So there could be some excitement for the women's team as well.
Oh, you like it when it's the girls, Rich. You like it when it's the girls, but not when it's the boys. Come on.
Well, no, I'm just saying it could be a good signing. If we got Alicia Russo, it would be a good signing. I still think the transfer window is crap, but if we sign her, it'll be a good signing. So we'll be excited about that briefly. Well, that happens if it does happen.
The only way we can top that is if we get Mbappe. That's it. That's the only way we can top that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's about the level we're looking at. Connell says, good chat. It was, and we enjoyed it. I'm glad you enjoyed it as well. Please give it a like and don't forget to subscribe if you're new here because, we have a lot of fun and we do some good stuff. So the next show is going to be on Thursday. Steve will be there with Adam taking care of business and it's going to be good. It's always a good show. So definitely join them for that one. And I say all the watch-alongs at the weekend. Friday, we've got the women's show as well. Don't forget to join us for that. We'll be looking at the transfer window for the Arsenal women, which has been okay so far. Could end up getting a bit better tomorrow. We'll see. So we'll have that on Friday. Looking forward to the game as well and all that kind of stuff. Loki says, cheers all. Cheers, chat. Indeed. Thank you for tuning in, Loki. Good to see you again, as always. We've got lots coming up on the channel. So we'll see you very soon. Thank you very much to Steve-O El Stevio for coming on. It's been a big pleasure, as always. Good to see you again. Have you enjoyed the show?
Oh, mate, always. Rich, come on. I know I've been really busy at work, but honestly, getting 5 minutes with Rich, him and I've been sharing my diary, everybody, with Rich all week. He's been so into what I'm doing at work at this moment in time.
I am. It's brilliant. It's brilliant. To be honest with you, I've been planning my day around what you're doing, just so that I can keep up with it.
Mate, there's going to be all sorts tomorrow. I'm going to update you tomorrow. You're going to know exactly what I'm up to at work. It's all going to be really good.
Yeah. I can't wait. I can't wait for that already. It makes the day go quicker, quite honestly. So, it's all good. Terry says, Edu should take notice if we buy Russo. Isn't he involved in those transfers as well, isn't he? That's part of his job, is it? Or not? I don't know. But anyway, Neil says, come on, you guys, indeed. That's been the show tonight. Thanks to all you guys in the chat. It's been brilliant. And thanks to Steve, obviously, for coming on and everybody else. Steve will be back on Thursday with Adam, so join them for that. We've got the women's show, we've got the watch-alongs, loads and loads of stuff, so don't miss anything. Terry says, night all, come on you guys, take care and see you all soon. Yeah, we will see you very soon, Terry. Thanks as always, and I'm sure you'll be delighted tomorrow when Jorginho arrives with his Arsenal shirt, carrying his Arsenal shirt out like this, and it'll be brilliant. We look forward to seeing your reaction on Thursday to that one. Anyway, thanks all for watching. Thanks to Steve, of course, as always, and to all you guys out there. We will see you very soon. And as always, come on, you Gunners, let's do it.
There we go. Get in there. Top of the league.
Top of the league. Lovely.
Gives it to Saka on the right far side. Bukayo Saka running at Luke Shaw, cuts inside. Saka tries to shot from 25 yards. It's in the far corner. What a great goal that is! Bukayo Saka. The comeback is complete. Arsenal 2, Manchester United 1.